Looking at verbals, specifically gerund phrases, you missed Orth's Flipped Classroom for Grammar. Again, this is going to be new content for some of you. You'd be wise to make sure you look at this video twice, once just for the visuals taking notes and second for the audio too. A gerund is an ing word, or present participle of a verb, also used as a noun. In that way, it's actually among the simplest of all these different verbals to find, because it's always going to end in ing. It's a type of verbal, which means we're going to be looking for an ing word which doesn't have a helping verb. Understand that a gerund phrase is simply that gerund, that ing word, all the words that accompany it or describe it. Where it gets tricky in 9th grade and beyond in terms of using a verbal is understanding how it's applied in a sentence. Okay. Since they're nouns, gerunds may be used the same 5 ways that nouns can be. They can be a subject, the who or what for the verb, typically preceding or coming before that main verb. Gerunds can be direct objects, receiving the action of an action verb after that action verb. They can be indirect objects, which indirectly receive the action of the action verb. They can be a predicate nominative, which is the main idea following a linking verb, or they can be objects of a preposition, which is following that preposition. So now how do we find those? Well, first you still want to find any ing words. Check to see if they have helping verbs. If so, they're verbs, not gerunds. Then we want to apply what I call the it test. Replace that gerund or the gerund phrase with the word it. If it works in place of any speech in a sentence, part of speech in a sentence, then it's doing the job of a nominative. It's doing the job of that noun or pronoun. If the it test fails, if it doesn't work, then if you've already ruled out the fact that it's a verb, then we're likely looking at a participle, and we should go back to the previous lesson's content about it being an adjective. But if it is an it test, we don't actually make the replacement. But there still has to be other verbs, otherwise we have a fragment. So once we found the other verbs, we check the location of the new it to determine what kind of gerund phrase we might have. If the it comes before the verb and answers the question who plus the verb, such as who walked, then it is a simple subject for that sentence, even if it's an entire phrase. If it follows a preposition, then it is the object of that preposition. If it follows an action verb, it is a direct object. It's pretty rare to have an indirect object for a gerund phrase. More likely it's going to be direct object followed by a preposition and then the gerund phrase if we're going to use it at all. So for our purposes, if the it here follows the action verb, it is the direct object. And if it follows a linking verb, we'll consider that this gerund phrase to be a predicate nominative. If you don't have this whole slide in your notes, make sure you get it. An example, shouting at me is not the best way to earn my respect. So we're going to follow our steps. First, it's about the ing, shouting. Is there a helping verb for it? Well, no, it's the first word in a sentence. Okay? Then we're looking at other verbs. We have is and we have, well, to earn kind of looks like a verb, but we know it's not quite the same. And we'll talk about that more in the next lesson. So we have shouting me is. Is there anything explaining shouting? Well, of course there is. At me. All right. Looks like we might have our gerund phrase, but let's check our other steps. So the ing word is shouting. What word is explaining shouting? Shouting at me. So we take up that whole phrase and replace it with it. Instead of having shouting at me is not the best way to earn my respect, we have it is not the best way to earn my respect. Since the main verb is, and because it becomes before the verb and answers who or what is not the best way to earn my respect, then this gerund phrase, is a simple subject. And those are your steps. I do recommend you go in order. So if the it works in a sentence for that gerund phrase, then work your way from starting with simple subject. Check to see if it's a preposition in front of it, and then decide which kind of verb you have, in case that's an area where you don't feel as strong. Do your practice, ask for help, and good hunting.